Family Motorhomes, and I'm just going to show you around some of the features of a motorhome and how to use it. So welcome, hope you have a fantastic holiday. Nothing difficult about motorhomes, it's all fairly simple, and what you'll find is in the passenger door you have a compendium with all the information on how to use the motorhome, and also the information in regards to roadside assist. Roadside assist covers the Mercedes part of the motorhome, so the actual motor, vehicle part, and anything from here backwards is considered to be part of the caravan part. So if you have any difficulties whilst you're on the road, please let us know and we'll help you out. Okay, so first of all I'm just going to show you the door system. So the key that you use for the side door is that funny shaped one there. Okay? So all you're doing when you leave the holiday park or when you're leaving the van at any time, please do make sure that you do lock this door at all times and you do put the awning away if that's been in use. So to lock that, you're just turning that right to the right and then back to the left to unlock that. It's not safe enough just to leave the fly screen closed because it is just a fly screen, it's a security screen. So with your electric step, there's a button inside which I'll show you, just inside there. Okay, so holding down one part of that to just hold it down and then make sure it goes back into the neutral position and then holding it down at the top to put it away again. Now that should go away automatically, but I do suggest that you follow this take-off checklist each and every time that you're leaving, departing for the day or the morning, and go through that you've put all these things away. And one of those is to put the electric step away. But when you put the key into the ignition and turn it halfway, that electric step should go away. It's not a problem if it doesn't, you just need to use this button here. Okay, so with the key system, you do have the unlock function. So you hold that down to unlock the van, and you hold this down to lock the van. Okay, and that's quite separate to this side door. So we need to make sure that both of those areas are locked. When you're leaving the motorhome, some people choose just to take that side door key. It's really important to note that this is a Mercedes remote control, and they are very, very expensive to replace. They are $1,300, I'm embarrassed to say, on behalf of Mercedes. So please don't lose that. It's not something that's going to be covered under your motor vehicle insurance. So with the motorhome, it is fitted out with your fire extinguisher. It is fitted out with most things that you'll need, including camp chairs and outdoor tables. So underneath this area here, so to unlock all these cabinets on the outside, we're just using a really small silver key that's totally round. Okay, you just pop this in the left-hand section here, unlock that, then pull this open, and then there's a little clip on each of these cabinets to keep it up for you. As you can see, we've got the barbecue installed in here, and that's an optional thing, so you may or may not have that as part of your hire. But all you need to do is obviously pull that out, have the cord fully extended. On this particular motorhome, the connection, so you need to make sure the gas is turned on, which I'll show you in a moment. Push that in and turn it around. It's really quite obvious how you do it. In the second Jayco motorhome, the connection is actually around over here. Same concept, but you're pushing it in from the side and turning it to engage it. Then there is instructions on how to use each of the barbecues, and there are 2 different barbecues in each of the Jayco models. So from here, once this is removed, you can easily access the tables and the fold-out camp chairs. So when you can either do that from in here, or you can go inside and lift the bed to the side to access that storage area. Okay, part 2. So we're going to start next with the gas bottle. So we've got a 3-way fridge inside, which I'll show you how to use. But obviously before you can use the gas, you need to turn the gas bottles on. And it's really important that you turn both gas bottles off at the top. So with the gas bottles, you've actually just got, as per usual, a little green rotating knob at the top. which you obviously send into the release position to turn on. Now at the moment we've got the left hand side gas bottle turned on. You can see the blue dial inside here is pointing to the left. In the other motorhome, it actually switches around the back of this connection here to engage the right bottle instead of the left. So I'll just show you, if you put this into the middle, it's on neither of the gas bottles. Put it to the right, it's going to turn this gas bottle on here. So what I suggest you do when you're out on a hire is, if you're in a short-term hire, say less than 2 weeks, I would just use this bottle and run it down to empty, and then switch it over to the large bottle if you run out. So just unscrewing this one off here and move away. There's no need to lock the gas cabinet because you'll be using it quite frequently. I had the question the other day what this is here. This is how you change the tyres. So there's a long big steel rod underneath the bed. It goes in there and accesses the wheels. Okay, so the awning will go through on a different video. The 2 Jayco motorhomes actually have bike racks. So all you're doing is pulling that down and then these little arms actually move around, and you strap these around the actual bike, the main piece of the bike. And then you've got your tyres, and through each of the 2 wheels you're going to undo these and to secure them around. So you actually got to squeeze the tyre down and pull that really firmly to make sure that's secure. It takes a maximum of 60 kilograms, which is probably about 2 to 3 bikes, depending on the weight of your bike. So it does have 4 rails, or 3 or 4 rails, but I would suggest comfortably you fit 2 adult bikes and possibly a 3rd child's bike. We have had 2 child's bikes on there, but they've had to have the actual pedals removed. So in this cabinet down here, so same as before, just unlock this left-hand side bit, and we do suggest that you keep your drinking clean water away from the grey water hose. Now when we talk about clean drinking quality water, there are places in Australia of course that you won't be able to access that, so I suggest that at holiday parks you always top up your tank to the maximum before departing in the morning. And also this one has the facility that you can connect and use mains pressure water, so to save you using the water actually out of the tank. So this lovely one here has a clip. I'll show you how to use that. Come on. So over here to connect that up, we've got this shaped key here to unlock the cabinet. On the other motorhome it's actually just a little white plastic key. So what you're doing is, if you're at a campground that has a site with water, like a tap on it, what you'll be able to do is directly connect this into it, turn the tap on, and then just click this on here. Now when you turn the tap on, you won't then have to be using water out of the tank. Now the tank itself is used when you're not connected obviously, so during the day when you're travelling, if you're free camping, basically all the rest of the time except when you've got access to that tap at a holiday park. Not all holiday parks have them on individual sites. So all you're doing is holding up the hose and just holding it to there. How do you know when it's full? Just this little outlet valve here, it'll start squirting out water towards you. So then you are full and you take that away, put this little cover cap over here, and this one here goes back on there when that's not in use. And basically that's it for the cabinet. So this is your remote control. So unlock and lock, and it's also your key. Pop that in there, turn it to where the lights are. Now when you turn it, your step will go in the hole. Yes, so don't stand on it. And then, but I always double check and do that first. So you'll find in here a really handy checklist that you can check each and every time before you leave. Okay? So it's a take-off checklist with things like power cord, that sort of thing. So go through that before you start and just make sure that everything's sorted, at least for the first few times you get on with it. And you know, it's just things like close all the cupboard doors, make sure everything's at the benches, because you know where that's going to end up. So. Okay, now this is the Camp 6 book that you're hiring. Okay, this has got a listing of all free and low cost camping spots. throughout Australia. And most importantly, it has a list of dump points, okay, so where you can empty your toilet waste. You can also empty your grey water at those places as well.
Just on a rough estimate sort of thing, how often do you empty your toilet sort of thing? I know if you go 20 times a day, you're going to fill it up quicker than
that's right.
But just on a normal run of the mill.
A couple would generally need to empty it every 3 days. A family would not even make it to 2. But basically you can see when it's full from the top, and you definitely want to empty it before it's totally full. Okay, so they've actually got HEMA maps and it overlaid those camp spots and those dump points. So you'll be able to plan a bit of a route there and detour. The other option is tourist information centres are really gold mines of information. So stop in there and say, we've got a motorhome, we need a council dump point if there's one available, or could you suggest a holiday park and everything like that as well. But you're going with family, aren't you? Who are basically guiding you, and they'll know most likely the spots and plan that out for you. Got your headlights here. So just parkers, headlights here. This is just for your screen. The illumination, yes. The camera is set to just come on automatically. So the reversing camera. You've got marginal visibility out the back there. So if you want to have a check what's going on, just turn it on. If you leave it on all day, you're doing a massive 8 hours driving, it's actually going to heat up and not ideal for it. That little on-off switch, just the same as your TV remote, it's got the same symbol, a little circle with a little line above it, and then just turn it back on when you want to. Really simple as you're driving to access that. Over here, you've got your hazard lights. You indicate on the left-hand side. You won't be able to put the wipers on because there is nothing over here. The wipers are on the same as here, so you can turn the wipers. Window wipers. And then up here you've got your cruise control, and definitely when you go to use the cruise control, have a little look at the manual. And I feel like I'm in more control about it. So I think I might have mentioned to you that it's worth staying around that 90k an hour just for fuel economy. And also to when you obviously go to bridges or the trucks come behind you, because of the height, the solid height of the vehicle, you will get a little sway to the side. So obviously if you drop your speed and you see it coming on, you'll feel that movement. Everything else is pretty simple. It's just park and
got to be in park or anything on the foot brake or whatever to start it, just in park and turn the key.
Basically, I put my foot on the brake just out of habit, just out of safety, and then I send it to halfway, and then the next click, wait for all those lights to go off. It's diesel, it's like a blow plug. Wait for all those to go, and then hit it. Simple. When you go from each day, it's the left-hand side. See where the blue hole is, even though the arrow's facing this way, it's the only way for you to really drive through easily. And you can easily manoeuvre through there. Turn left before the petrol houses and actually drive through BP to go out to that side street there.
So you go down round the back of the petrol house and round where they pull up
just the front here. So front or back just depends on.
And the key just comes out automatically, there's no button to push.
No, that's it. Now, if the keys actually have batteries in them, so show some of this. See this little clip? Okay. See that little clip? Pull that to the side and that comes out. Now, if that battery goes flat, you can still drive the motorhome totally fine. So all you do is take this out to unlock the side door. Just means your remote's not going to work. Then put that back in there, and then it'll use the power from the motorhome anyway to start it. So it doesn't matter about the battery, it's really just the open and close function. So it's really not a big issue. If there's any small things that you need to do to the caravan part, because your roadside assist covers you for the crew, so the Mercedes part doesn't cover you for the caravan part. So if there's any small things like you've got a little clip that's not working or come off or something like that, or a battery remote to replace, then just pay for those things, keep your receipt and we'll reimburse you at the end. If it's anything large, obviously give us a call. We'll authorise the repairs, and the best thing is for you to call into somewhere. You've got more likelihood to be able to convince them to help you straight away than I have on the phone. So if you just saw somewhere, driving near, caravan repair shop or whatever, and then we'll pay for those repairs if needed straight away. It's an urgent thing. Over the phone with 5 minute so they can do the work work for you and you can be on a way really quickly. Okay. The gas cabinet. It shouldn't be in and out at all the time, so leave that unlocked, okay? Because you'll be turning it on every time you need to use the kettle or put your fridge on, that sort of thing. Now you need to have them in the off position when you're driving. Okay? Yep. So off position, just wind them like you would gas bottle at home to off position here. I've got it turned on to this large bottle for you first, because that way, once it empties, included is these 2 bottles of gas for you. You don't need to pay for the refills, we do that when you come back. But if you need more than the 2, you need to just pay for the refills at your own cost whilst you're out on the road. Okay? So this little blue dial turns it from the right, so when this one goes empty, turn this to the left, and then open this one up. Okay. And then you can just leave that basically on there and you're back to empty.
So that's quite sufficient, isn't it? Leave that blue one on this one,
yeah,
but turn
just
this
turn
off.
that off. Yeah. There is a bit of a safety mechanism to protect you.
If we've got to fill one on the heater,
yes.
Undo this and take it out, do we?
Yes, and you've got these here that wind out, and there's some tools underneath the bed as well.
Whoever's a plumber, he'll know all about that.
Exactly. But the other thing is too, if you take it to most of the caravan or gas places, they'll do it for you.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but you go in and ask. They're nicer ladies than they are men sometimes. Okay, so that's just the plug. So once you disengage that. So basically, you use gas. And I'll explain the fridge when we're inside, but you use the gas when you're free camping for your hot water. You use your gas for your fridge when you're stopped during the day and when you're free camping as well. And you'll use the gas almost always when you're cooking and your griller. No, that's definitely not a swap bottle. No, we don't want their bottles, we want our bottles, yeah. So it's definitely a refill, yeah. They're much better. They're quite often quite rusty and horrible, aren't they, the ones that back in here? Okay. So over underneath here we've got the waste tank valve. So that waste tank is grey water. Do you understand what grey water is from your sink and from your shower? Okay, so here you've got that little round key that undoes these locks on the left hand side. Latches just pop that up so it doesn't come back down. Okay, now in here I've actually got the electricity cord, and on the one on the other side I've actually got the grey water hose and I've got the white clean drinking water hose. So with the grey water hose, it's sort of a black bag just to keep it sort of away from everything else. And all you're doing is connecting this up to, can you see this here?
Yep.
Okay, connect that up there. It's like a screw sort of thing on there. And basically there's a handle just here, right near the edge. You pull that towards the back of the motorhome to open it up. So obviously make sure that you've got your hose on first before you open that up. Now at some caravan parks they'll have a tap and a drain underneath the tap. And what you can obviously do is leave that in the open position and let your grey water run directly into that drain whilst you're there. Otherwise you just do it, it's a gravity feed, and so you're just going to empty it before you leave the holiday park. You can't just empty that water anywhere. It does need to be into a proper drain, but you can also use the dump points as well. This is just if you bring with you a bottle of electric kettle outside.
All right.
Yeah, or you want to have radio outside or something like that. Just plug it into there. It's just a regular 10-amp power socket. You obviously need to plug into power for that to work. In here, we've just got like a little tub, bit of a hose, windscreen cleaner, that sort of thing, and that's your 15-amp power lead that you're going to use, and that's on the driver's side always, so you're connecting that. There's a little light underneath here. Turn that on and off when you go out at night. This is actually inside. That's the speaker. You can pipe music on the inside or the outside. If you have one of those iPods or iPhones and that sort of connection. I won't go through that one. Okay, so the passenger side. Got another one of those take-off checklists for you in there. Both sides. And some information of holiday parks. This is the roadside assist. So there's a phone number for you to call in case of breakdown, the 1-800. But this is it all summarised in bright yellow on this page for you as well. This is instructions for basically every part of the motorhome. So you don't have to remember everything I'll tell you right now, and I understand that you won't. But also, more than half of motorhomes and caravans in holiday parks are Jayco's, and a lot of the parts are common, and most of the people will know how to use them. People are very, very friendly and helpful in holiday parks. This is how you use the awning. The awning is something that we can go through, but I can guarantee you will forget by the time you come to use it. So I'll show you the basics, and then we'll basically get you to refer to this manual, because it will make sense once I tell you the basics. We've just got air conditioning units with air conditioning units, so easy to use. It's just turn it on, how hot it cold you want, on or off. That's that fridge, really, really good fan, so I can use the hot plates. Water heater is a really good one, that's quite well used, that instruction manual, and how to enter the toilet. This is the TV manual, that can be quite handy as well. I'll show you how to tune the television. Every time you move, obviously you need to tune into the local station. The windows on this motorhome are actually like perspex, they're not glass, and you can't use glass if you're not a physical agent. So there's a little tube with this, I think, until the edge and that button, but basically just use water and salt on it. That's all you need to do. And that's basically it. I do.
That?
Yes.
That?
Yes.
Now, power steering one would imagine, or whatever.
Yeah, so it's literally just come back from its service. So Mercedes only has 30,000 intervals on their servicing.
Right.
But what you need to do is just check your oil and your water. Okay? So obviously make sure that it's cooled down before you do that. There's
where is our water?
There is half of a bottle of top-up oil underneath the bed in the motorhome, okay, and this is the only stuff basically you can use. Yes, it's the only stuff as well. Yes, that's right. Yes.
It's just dipstick there.
Exactly.
The oil goes in there, and there's our radiator water.
Yes.
Just keep an eye on the...
Yep, you've got your water and that's it basically. That's all that. Pretty simple stuff, don't need to do anything more than that. You're not touching anything with how it works, you just call no cases if something goes wrong. Okay, it's got 2 new tyres on it, and it's also, here is where you read what pressure. Use the upper end, the PSI loading.
What's it got on it there now, tell me?
Yeah, 61.
So right, 61.
Yeah, loaded, and you're going to be loaded.
Yep.
And then loaded 52 for the rear. So front, rear, 52, 61. Just means
61 in the front.
61 in the front, 52
in the back.
So just those last numbers
Yep.
on each of those sections.
Okay.
Yeah. You recall that side door
Yep.
to get in and out of the caravan part is actually this little shaped key here.
Right.
You've got your little round key for undoing all the other cabinets,
Yep.
and then you've got this shaped key here for your water cabinet. Basically just put that in, turn that around. You refill the water tank. So you've got a completely full water tank at the moment. So you just get your nozzle.
Put it on there.
No?
Oh, in there.
Just in there.
Right,
Yep,
okay.
that's it.
Right,
So 80 litre capacity.
Yep.
Okay, to give you an idea, when the gas hot water is filled up, that tank or any hot water, it's 18 litres. Okay, that will give you a 5-minute shower. So you need to be quite frugal with the water and just go through it. Now 80 litres, realistically you're going to need to be taking that up every 2 or 3 days or 2 weeks.
Put the hose in there, and when it fills up, it runs out to the floor.
It'll spurt out here.
Yep.
You see that little mesh bit there?
Yes.
It'll spurt out and you quickly remove it. But you know, water will be going in.
Yes.
Now this here is an extra feature that's just the Jayco pack. Okay, that one. Oh no, it just sits on there. Just to keep it.
It can't blow back out there.
No, because that'll be holding it back up.
Right.
So this here is where you use mains pressure water. So you've got your white hose, which should be in the back here. So white is for clean. clean drinking quality water.
Yeah.
So you've got a connection on two sides here.
Yes.
So one you're going to screw up onto the tap, and then you're going to click this on to that middle part there, onto there. Just literally click it on, turn it on at the tap, and then you're going to have full pressure water inside the van for the whole time that you've got it connected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now what that will mean though is you're filling your grey water tank if you're not draining that grey water out straight away, but you're not using the water out of the tank. So it's not transferring that water into the tank first, it's using it straight from the tap. So you still, before you leave, you need to make sure that you've got a full tank of water. Okay, now if you end up, we'll be free camping as well as holiday parks later, so that'll be fine. But if you end up with your water getting quite stale in the tank because you haven't used it, you're staying at holiday parks every night, what you need to do is just drain that tank and just fill it up with drinking quality water.
Okay, we're using the mains water while we can.
Yes.
It goes onto that one.
That's it.
Direct
Click it on.
inside.
That's it.
Otherwise, we take the end of the hose or whatever, put it in there to fill it up.
Fill it up before you leave the holiday park.
Yep.
They should always have clean drinking water, and then basically you should be good until the next time you go to a holiday park.
Okay.
Yep. Just change this around because grey water next to clean water is probably not ideal. There's some extra little bits and pieces in here with a hose and extra connections and that sort of thing.
Righto.
And there's also some gloves for changing the toilet and the grey water and that sort of thing. So,
Okay.
as I mentioned, the grey water is actually probably more in terms of potential odour than the toilet. Well, the toilet we don't lock, there's no need, nobody wants what's in it. So we just press those two buttons and we open it up like that.
Yep.
Okay, now we need upstairs, you've got an open and close valve that basically just moves from side to side. Okay, so there's a lever here that opens and closes it. Now you need to make sure that that valve is in closed position.
Okay.
Yes, because if it's not, what will happen is even holding this up down here, green lever, and pulling that out, it won't come out easily. Don't force it, just go upstairs, it'll probably be that lever not closed properly.
Okay, so that's closed off up here, just lift that lever and pull that out.
Pull that out, simple as that.
Yeah.
This here, there's another handle on this side here.
Yep.
I've already put 2 litres of water and toilet chemical in it for you, so you don't need to do that today. Basically it's on wheels, so rather than move the motorhome to empty at the dump point, I would suggest that you just extend that handle, drag it down to where you need it. Otherwise you'll find in the mornings, you'll have 7 or 8 vans all lined up waiting for that dump point. But if you can squeeze in between one of those vans because you've got yours ready to go, all the easier. So all you need to do, you seen a dump point before?
No.
Basically just a hole in the sewage system. That's all it is.
Right.
Some of them are quite fancy now, they've got big plastic covers and that sort of thing, but it's essentially the same thing. Just an open point into the sewage system. So all you're going to do is just unscrew that. Like so, line that up by holding the handles straight into that hole in the ground. And that's it. That's all you need to do.
Righto.
So you've got then, there'll always be a tap, usually with quite a short hose, to make sure that people don't use it for drinking water. A short hose, and you're basically going to rinse that out, dump that water out again, just switch it around a bit. Then add 1 to 2 litres would be the best way for you to do it.
Yeah, down into there.
Through there again.
Yep.
Okay, and then you just add your chemical from up the top. Then you can add your chemical straight away, or you can add your chemical the next time you use it.
Put it down the hole.
Exactly. Open that valve. Just make sure you line it up nice and close because that blue liquid, if you think about it, it's decomposing everything that's contacting it. It can damage your hands, so make sure you use those gloves. Okay, pop that to the side.
Yes. Yes.
And there's also a manual as well inside. I got lost now. So showing you how to use the toilet.
Yep.
We've already done that. Now this is where we fill up the flushing water for upstairs. Quite separate, that way you don't need to access clean drinking water for this facility. So that little short hose that you've got next to your dump point will be ideal for filling this up. Now, all you
Just
need
fill it up to that amount there like you've got there.
It'll always look full.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a look at that,
Yep.
that'll always look like it's totally full,
Yes.
but it may not be. The indicator is the only guide when it's full. So even when it's showing as totally empty, as long as it's got a little bit of water in it, enough to fill this part here, it'll look like it's full.
Okay.
So all you do is hold the hose up to there, and it'll just pop it in there for you.
How much does that
That's how it
take?
goes there, isn't it? Is that it there, is it?
Yes, that's it, it's full.
I got
Yeah.
it, yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how much it takes, but it lasts a very long time. You won't need to top this up nearly as often as you will.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. You can actually see that we've got a full tank of water, even though it's just flicking. It really does depend on how level the site is that you're parked on. Your freshwater too will always be empty because there is no second freshwater tank in the 6-berth motorhome. Here you've got your grey water. Green means empty, so it's been emptied. And then your battery test should almost always be full as long as you've had some sunshine. If you've got grey overcast days, that solar obviously is not going to work very effectively. Okay. So this battery charge button, always leave that on.
It's on now?
Yes, yep. Leave it on because that is the battery charging as you drive and then from the solar as well. Now, if you lose power, just trip the switch, whatever, basically it's just back on by pushing this up here, just like you have in your electricity box at home. Okay, so it'll flip down like that if it's off, you flip it back up to reset it. Okay, now the little bit more interesting thing is when you're plugged into power, you will have electrical hot water, you won't have gas hot water. So that will come on automatically. So what you most importantly need to do is plug in your electricity, but make sure you connect up to your water first, okay? Turn that tap on, and in that way it will deliver 18 litres of water into that cupboard down the bottom and heat it. So you need to allow 15 minutes for that water to heat before you have your shower or try and do your dishes. What I suggest to most people is just use it for your shower, boil the kettle to just do your dishes. It's much quicker and easier. Then when you finish your showers, turn the water heater off. You don't really need hot water access all of the time.
So just run that one again, Ruby.
Yeah.
When we park of an afternoon or whatever.
Yes, and you're at the holiday park.
And we've got power direct to the van.
That's it. You're going to connect up your orange 15 amp cord from this side into the holiday park power.
Yep.
You're then going to connect your water into the mains pressure water in that middle connection point there. Hose clip on the other side and turn it on.
Yep.
And then you're going to come in here before your showers, so at least 15-20 minutes before, turn that water heater on.
That's the white one there.
That's the white one.
Yep.
And that light will come on usually straight away.
Yep.
Now, when it's heated, it will turn off.
Okay.
Yep. The difference being when you are not plugged into power, or you don't have water on your van park, you're obviously either going to be drawing from the tank. So it's an 80 litre water tank.
Yes.
You need to make sure it's at least half full because if that drains dry, it'll try and deliver that into that gas and it will do damage to that hot water heater. So what you need to do obviously is if you're not plugged into power, it will work from gas. There's just one more thing you need to do, and that's go and turn the gas bottles on. Okay. So gas bottles on, make sure that you've got at least half a tank of water showing. And then you're going to turn on your pump, hear that groaning sound. So when I turn the pump, that's for the water, okay? So the water is pumping through, you hear it there now, okay. So you've got your monitor here, your pump there. And it's just that little pump symbol, you just switch it to the side. You could leave that on while you're driving, but if your levels keep changing, what happens, you can just sometimes hear that groaning noise, the water going through the thing. You can leave that off. So pop your pump on and then your hot water heater again. And the only difference this time is you'll hear it clicking, a tick, 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 tick. It'll light the pilot light down there and heat that via gas this time rather than electricity. Again, this is all in that book, so you don't have to remember that today. So you're going to pull this lift button open. So you've got your 15 amp power cord plugged into the driver's side of the motorhome. You're going to plug the other side of that directly into this here, okay?
So it's an orange cord into the orange amphibian.
Exactly, yep.
And then this one goes into the power point.
Exactly.
At the
so
house
click
or
that
wherever.
down, that goes straight into a 10 amp regular domestic power socket at a private residence or your house. There are not many that have 15 amp power points. At a holiday park, you definitely are not allowed to use this because you plug directly that orange cord straight from the van, straight into their power because it's only 15 amp they can provide. Now this here is the only, if it trips, you push this down here and pull that up there. And that'll just allow you to switch it things. So just leave it in the on position, click that down. You're going to use that lift button, plug it in, plug that in.
So the van, the cord in the back there goes into the van and into that. And
Into that.
And that goes into the power point.
Perfect.
But
We've
you
got
don't
it.
really
got
have
it
to
in
use
one.
it very often anyway.